Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. A slight delay only so that we get everybody here, the hundreds of devotees extra today, live on this side of the world. Get them all seated nicely in the theatre of life. Hare Krishna, Maya Shri Devi Rasi Vrindavaneshwari, Devi Rasi Jai Gauranga Prabhu, and Pavan Prabhu and Krishna, and Kamala. Pavan, Krishna Prabhu, and Kamala in Thailand. Sevarupa Devidasi, South Africa, Leela Moy. Yes, Leela Moy Prabhu, right here next door. And that was one of the reasons we have to be slightly apart, because he's the host, and otherwise our sound makes a strange, strange thing with Zoom, so we get feedback. So happily with you all. And on Facebook also, it seems that we are live. And on Facebook also. And we have Facebook with us. So as devotees arrive, if they send a message, then we will know that they're there. So on Facebook, on Zoom, and in the recorded version, our obeisances to you all, a big welcome. Here we are. We're together in the sky. How can it be? But we are in Italy at Villa Govinda Ashram, and otherwise, really, it is Krishna consciousness is not a physical location. Certainly, it's the location of our heart. And some of you, certainly myself, have read Navadip Dham Mahatmya recently, and I just finished it twice, so it's a good bit of revision to read it. I mean, second time in a row is what I mean. And there we are reminded always about Navadip, about consciousness. Everything we read is about consciousness. So we mustn't feel that we are in a physical location, therefore we cannot connect with Krishna consciousness. It is not the case at all. And another thing is that especially now with the mercy of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, then anywhere we are, anywhere we can receive his message and receive the grace coming through that line, that current which he's established, the broad current of whatever you hear, chant Hare Krishna, and then distribute that to others so they can hear. And this way, if we are within that current, then may we consider ourselves connected with Navadip, with the holy Dham, especially Navadip. Navadip is the place of distribution of mercy, and to chant the glories of Mahaprabhu and to spread the holy name. This is service to Navadip. All right, so anyhow, we're greeting each other, and as we are chatting away, then Muktinath Prabhu joined us, Chintamani Devidasi joined us, and we'd better start with an official-ish invocation with Vandeham, Om Jnana, Namo Maha, and Vanchakalpatarubhishta. All right, dear devotees, happily with you all. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalang Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shakan Vitanscha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Govinda, Govinda, aha, Jai Gauranga Prabhu's in a car. It's his turn to be traveling somewhere, representing Australia. Australians used to be famous for traveling when we were young. So we got one Australian with us here, Rupanuga Prabhu. And he's not in a car today. He's found a destination for his car to stop. He's in Vila Govinda Ashram with us for a while. And Jai Gauranga Prabhu in Australia has taken over the being in a car duty. All right. And also Ishwarananda Prabhu with us here, and probably, well, now you all know each other. So and he can see each of you who've revealed your forms, and we are here with our known family, our happy family. So first of all, this last week since we were together, we've had Srila Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. Myself and us, we began our, sorry, not Vyasa Puja, excuse me, slap across the face, Srila Guru Maharaj's Disappearance, Tirubhav, which was a day of glorification of Srila Guru Maharaj. And we started our day here with you all. So we started our day with the Zoom, and from that moment onwards, this moment onwards, on Sunday, then we had a flowing day of Harikatha, means Krishna Katha, but talks especially focused on Guru Maharaj and of course on Gurudev, on Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and especially on the disappearance of Guru Maharaj, the talks remembering Guru Maharaj and his not only gift to the world, his essential gift to the world, essential, I don't know what, much more than gift, treasure. They use this word dhana, isn't it? Treasure. This comes repeatedly in the kirtans. So anyway, this is what has happened since we were together a few days ago, that we had Srila Guru Maharaj's disappearance, and then devotees arriving here from different parts of Italy and different parts of Europe, in fact, and now arriving here from different parts of the world, the opposite side of the world, depending on what shape you think the world is, but it's the other end, opposite side, where morning is evening and evening is morning. Hare Krishna. So any question from anybody your side? Oh, by the way, the entrance into the room, into this Gurudev's room, we're sitting in Gurudev's room, entrance ticket into this room is they have to bring something, a contribution in their pocket. What contribution? Yes, not rupees or euros, but some contribution for the Harikatha of back to basics. So we'll hear from them soon. But does anybody have a question or contribution in their pockets that they would like to share? Because I do know last time, I don't think I gave any opportunity, and because I was chatting away all the time, being Guru Maharaj's disappearance day. So Sevarupa has a contribution. 8th of August, disappearance of Srila Vamshi Babaji. Yes, but it's only the 7th of August. In some places. Okay, we got it. It is Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj's disappearance day. And there is a short video, I think it's quite a short video, that is, sorry, not video, audio that is there, a short recording that is there. And so I hope that you can all listen to that today, and whenever your today will be. It is 16 minutes. So 16 minutes of your day. Honestly, who better than Srila Guru Maharaj to tell us about Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj? And you'll get to hear his expression. You'll get to hear Guru Maharaj. And here in the introduction to this day, so 1985, 39 years ago, my goodness. By the way, this is something for me this year. for Srila Guru Maharaj's disappearance. I think remembering and seeing, I think 40 years ago, it's 40 years since we were with Guru Maharaj. And I remember being a teenager, by the way. Okay, I remember being a teenager and listening to old people talking about the past. And 40 years ago would seem like infinity. Like that's just, long ago. The color, there was no color in the world. It was all black and white and all sorts of things. So, and people walked in a jumpy way. And anyway, whatever it is, whatever our conceptions were of 40 years ago. So anyway, suddenly this year, 40 years ago, then we are with Srila Guru Maharaj directly in person. And it is really amazing how time speeds by. So here, 40 years ago, okay, 39 years ago, Srila Guru Maharaj. And there's a short quote from Guru Maharaj taken from this audio. The quote, "He was the only sadhu who had recognition from our Guru Maharaj as sadhu, Bansidas Babaji." So this is when Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sri Ramakrishna talks of Guru Maharaj, it means Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, of course, to him. So I'll read the quote. "He was the only sadhu who had recognition from our Guru Maharaj as sadhu, Bansidas Babaji. He was living in the strict sense the life of a Babaji, indifferent to the world." Anyhow, this in one sentence, not two sentences, gives us a little taster for what Srila Guru Maharaj is describing in this audio. And you see Guru Maharaj saying he was the only sadhu who had recognition from our Guru Maharaj as a sadhu. Because in India, even if you've not been to India, I mean, India is like synonymous with red clad, usually bearded, long hair, sadhus with markings of different kinds on their forehead, etc., etc. And so, in general, India is synonymous with sadhus, people dressed. In one place, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that we're not giving recognition to anyone and everyone who's dressed in red rags, who covers themselves in red rags and shows so many like sadhu-like activity. So India is synonymous with sadhus, but a sadhu needs to be the substance rather than just the appearance. And imitation, something we were discussing yesterday in the Italian Zoom. One or two of you were there, I think, in the Italian Zoom yesterday evening. Then imitation is what we want to avoid, and imitation is what we want to be very careful to be able to discriminate in ourselves, but also in others who we may think, oh, here's somebody who's very wise, he looks like a sadhu, let's hear from him. So we want to be very careful about these things. So many sadhus in India and in the holy places, and to such an extent that in India it is illegal now to wear deer skin. And I don't know where the legal line is, whether it's illegal to possess deer skin, I don't know. But in order to protect the poor deer who are being hunted, maybe not to extinction because they live somewhere else, but in the regular world, if there's a market, if there's a possibility to make money, then people do all sorts of heinous and also cowardly things, shooting animals with a gun. What kind of sport is that? Even called game. They call deer and they'll call tigers and other things game. Oh, we're going to go and play a game. Let's go and shoot some animals. But in order to protect the deer, then in India, at least, you're not allowed to wear a deer skin. So literally, we've seen sadhus wearing made in Japan or made in China, fake deer skins, looking like deer skin, everything, but it's made out of nylon or something. I don't know what it's made of. It's not made of deer. It's quite obviously, another thing is it's quite obviously fake. It's not even like really very good fake. Sorry to those of you who are imitating Krishna's wonderful nature. But somehow you can tell, artificial fiber from real things. So anyway, sadhus, to look like a sadhu, they imitate and use imitation deer skin to, get some recognition. And it really looks quite amusing sometimes. And they're sitting there, being quite forceful for a donation. I'm a Brahmin, I'm a sadhu. Don't you have respect for Brahmins or sadhus? Give me a donation. But anyway, we have to be very careful because, we tend to stay on the safe side and puts at least something there. And if they're not satisfied, then we know that, well, perhaps their Brahmanism and Sadhuism was a little, very small percent of the nature. But we'll be careful. And we will be careful. And as we have experience, then we were in, myself, anyway, I was up in the Himalayas at Badrik Ashram 1 year with Ananda Vardhan Prabhu, a sweet devotee from Russia. Really, no complaint. I didn't hear any complaint come from him. Very sweet devotee. We went together, not in the easiest circumstance, up to Badrik Ashram in the Himalayas. And we considered ourselves fortunate to be ripped off, as it were, but to get a room, a tiny room in Badrik Ashram, just to sleep, to spend the night. And it was expensive definitely for what it was, but it was expensive in a tiny room. So anyway, we happily got the tiny room. And then in the early morning that evening and the early morning next day, we passed by, sadhus looking like sadhus and sleeping out in the cold. And cold means cold. And they were out in the cold and they were under like little protection somewhere. I remember they were all huddled in some place. And they were renounced. They were quite sadhuish. And anyhow, myself and Ananda Vardhan Prabhu, then we chanted Hare Krishna. We weren't a big Sankirtan group, but we chanted Hare Krishna. And at least I can say those sad-looking sadhus, the sad-looking sadhus, they really did cheer up. And some of them were chanting Hare Krishna, so we can't say who is who or what is what. So we will be careful. But careful means we're not going to, really listen to Siddhanta or listen to the glories of anything from, anything of the spiritual plane, from somebody who we don't really know their credentials, just because we want to know that we're hearing from a proper source and not from somewhere which is, just hearsay and chit chat, or even from a sadhu, from another sadhu who's, giving them mayavad or giving them imitation, this sahajyavad, which we were hearing here in Italy about yesterday. Because there are a whole lot of different conceptions. But what Guru Maharaj gave, what Srila Saraswati Thakur gave, what Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev are giving, which is one and the same, presented in various ways applicable to our capacity to receive that, then if we're not hearing from the safe place, then we're unsafe, naturally. If we are guided through the jungle just by somebody who puts on a label and says, I'm a tour guide, come through the jungle, I'll show you alligators, I'll show you crocodiles and tigers and deadly this and deadly that. Oh, I'm guide. Here, look, here is my badge. Come with me. So we wouldn't do that in the jungle, I hope, but we wouldn't do that in the jungle of spiritual life. And I see Sevarupidiri is active on the side, on this side of the screen. In the chat box, she's put there the quote that I gave just now, which is from the introduction to this day's audio on scasmat.com. I think you all know the address. Sevarupa, quote from Upadeshamritam. And is this our, who's speaking here, Sevarupa? Is it Srila Guru Maharaj? Or is this Srila Prabhupada's?
It is from Prema Dharma. Is that website? Let me just double check for you.
Yeah, the website is completely fine. It's all affiliated. I'm just wondering who's speaking.
Okay, this is... Okay, the quote was originally from the Srimad Bhagavatam, but let me just see. It is the book by...
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, it's on Prema Dhamma. Yes. Just at this moment, we can't exactly say if it's from Guru Maharaj or Gurudev.
Yeah, no.
Or Srila Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, or Srila Prabhupada. But we know it's coming from the right source, from our source. So the quote is, we cannot recognize a Vaishnava by observing external detachment or external attachment. We can recognize a true Vaishnava as a Vaishnava by observing their extremely sincere attachment to the Lord's service and their extremely genuine constancy within it. We should not confuse a practitioner with an expert. We should not look at Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj of Navadip's habits of chewing pan and smoking tobacco, and we should not imitate him. We should look at his extreme propensity for service. Hare Krishna. Okay, well, yes. And we have seen photos or paintings. I don't know. I think photo of Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj, and fitting the description, we can say, of what a Babaji does look like. I mean, quite Babaji appearance. But we must remember that point that Srila Guru Maharaj points out, that he's the only sadhu who Srila, his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, recognized as a sadhu. So please, we must take much lesson from that as practitioners, as students. Then we really have to learn from the masters. And in the category of masters, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, not only guru, but maker of gurus. Srila Guru Maharaj, not only guru, but maker of gurus, the guru of gurus. So we'll be very cautious and as a student to follow nicely what has been given by our masters. Discriminate between a master and a student. Hare Krishna. Anyway, we shall be students forever in this lifetime, and forever means we're always going to be under the guardianship of a senior, and that means happily putting ourselves there, and not as in the world's working place, as we have a devotee who used to work in banks, and he said that everyone's just biting at others' heels, trying to take over their job or get promotion or put them down and get themselves recognized like that. We need to be the opposite. We need to be a servitor, but a servitor who is selfless and giving appreciation to every other one, and not in the opposite world of this world, in the corporate world. Those who are in the corporate world, we hope that you have a better environment than this devotee had, because he said it was just such a selfish place in the appearance of everyone, you know, being very polite with each other, but actually they're all trying to struggle up the ladder to get the bigger desk. And he even described the size of the desks. He says, at this grade, you get certain size desks, these perks, this kind of car, or whatever it may be. Then the next grade, you get a bigger desk and a better car. Next grade, you get your own office and a better, you know, whatever it may be. Anyway, here we are. We want to be happy servitors, and happy servitors of grand masters, and so not to imitate anybody. And Bangsidas Babaji Maharaj, you know, his behavior is that of a Babaji. He wasn't doing everything sweetly and perfectly, and we've seen lots of sadhus not doing things sweetly and perfectly. Just take my word for it. Don't go to see for yourself. Kumbh Mela is a classic example. And actually, Gurudev directly said, Kumbh Mela, he said, we have no place in the Kumbh Mela. That is not a place for us. It is like, in some ways, the most diseased coming together. So, I know, again, we can think, oh, no, it's full of sadhus. Well, think about Srila Saraswati Thakur's description of sadhu. So we have to be careful, and the safest place for us is to give our obeisances from a distance. Hare Krishna. And we were in the Kumbh Mela. Why? To make a documentary film, not to be part of it in that sense. And it was clear when you're there why Srila Gurudev says we have no place in Kumbh Mela. It is not for us. Hare Krishna. Yes. Oh, okay. So that's a contribution from Seva Rupa. And now it's time to hear from our three-dimensional, to me. There's a three-dimensional to you. It must be more than three-dimensional to me, because to you, up and down, right and left. And also you can hear their voices and see them. That's at least 4 dimensions. So let's first ask the Rupanuga Prabhu. What did you bring in your pocket?
What I brought in my pocket, really, and I want to share, is my reawakening. The other day in the mountain, for Razorback, it was Zoni. We have Razorback in Australia.
Okay.
I was left alone. I couldn't keep up with Maharaj. So I stayed behind, but I stayed behind in this beautiful clearing. And I said I would chant the Maha Mantra. And, I became aware of the power of the Maha Mantra way before I became aware of Gaudiya Math or any formal teaching of it. I actually used it to save my life in a precarious situation in Costa Rica, where I was in the river and I couldn't go forward and my feet were bleeding as I was walking on these sharp rocks. And I just went, oh, I remember this powerful mantra. And I repeated it. And then this wisdom came that said, you can get out of this predicament by one step at a time. Don't look at the miles and miles ahead of going down waterfalls. And then we got to a position where we couldn't even get out of this precarious situation. And my friend said, I won't say what he said, but he said, we are.
An Australian word.
Yeah, we are an Australian word. And I thought, this is the time. And I repeated the Maha Mantra and I looked above at a sodden cliff. And I thought, we can get out of here if we can go up the cliff. And we were like hundreds of meters above this river, and we had to make my toe hold and foot hold in this sodden, muddy cliff. And I grabbed a branch, and just like in a cartoon, the branch came out, and I was hanging on just by one foot in this mud. And I looked down to the river, and the river was just that narrow. It was so, but I kept repeating the mantra, and it got me through. But anyway, I lost my japa bag, because once I became initiated, I got the japa bag. So I started chanting without the japa bag, and I was in Thailand, and I was in the sacred waterfalls, and I actually started to sing. And it came to me, chant and be happy, because I've always said that when you're counting on a japa, I notice that if I count with a smile, I become really happy. If I chant looking really serious like an ISKCON devotee, I don't become happy. And anyway, I was left alone in this forest, and there was no one around, and I let go, and I sang, and I sang, and I'm not a singer at all. My mother said I couldn't sing, so I never did. But at least Krishna allows me to sing the mantra, and I was singing at the top of my voice and changing it and even putting a tune to it. And then I noticed the trees seemed to be waving with my chant, and the clouds are actually forming. And at one stage I thought, is that like a cloud of Krishna above me? And to use a colloquial term, it was like I was tripping. I was so happy, and I noticed that I stayed behind because I was exhausted, but I became elated, and I really felt happy, and at the same time a little bit guilty, because I thought that we must count on the japa bag, which I don't have anymore. And so I brought it up, and I asked that question. Because the other thing that I noticed reading, and I forget the book that I was reading, but it was an ancient scripture. And when it talked about the Maha Mantra, it talked about singing the Maha Mantra. And that was a question I've never asked you, Maharaj, because in this, it kept repeating singing the mantra, which in a way could be just, the japa counting. But then I asked you yesterday, I think it was, and you said that it is quite acceptable so long as one is chanting the holy name. So where do I go from here? I'm really, really happy to chant and sing, especially in places where people aren't around. Though, as it turned out, up in the mountains, a lot of people, you said to spread the word, a lot of people could hear me coming down the mountain, walking past, and some people really sort of acknowledged me too. And some people snuck by as if there was something really important going on. So I find it quite funny, to me, the question, I guess, is it the quality of the chant or the quantity of the chant by counting? And what is the purpose of counting if I sing for 2 or 3 hours a day, either quietly or loudly? I won't give you an example because I'd probably blow the fuses. But yes, is it necessary to actually count, or is it the quality of the chanting?
Well, first of all, I can just say, this is the first time I'm hearing these stories from Rupanuga Prabhu about his original faith, like faith in the Maha Mantra and his experiences. And so, I mean, this is why we come together, to share experiences, etc. And about the holy name, etc., then we have the answer from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we've actually got the answer from Srila Gurudev, and of course then from Srila Gurudev, etc. But about chanting the holy name, the second of the Shikshastakam, which is just 8 prayers directly composed by Mahaprabhu, and the second of those verses is this Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sava Shaktis. This verse is explaining that the Lord has given everything. He's given the holy name to us, and that there are no hard and fast rules for chanting. So we can chant aloud, we can chant in all kinds of ways and everywhere. And that this is what we should try to do 25 hours a day. So if you want to sing for 3 hours a day, you still have 21 hours left for doing other things. But also Mahaprabhu has given in his instructions in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, after explaining the Maha Mantra, then he says that you should chant the holy names and in proper measure. And there he uses the word, there is used directly the word japa. So what guidance has come to us for chanting the holy name in proper measure, whether it's 300,000 names a day, as in the case of Nama Acharya, like ideal example of Haridas Thakur, or whether it's 64 rounds a day, 16 rounds a day, 4 rounds a day minimum, whatever guidance has come to us, we have this meditation time, if you like. And by the way, I also read recently, and it's in the 12th canto, I think it could have been the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, description of chanting japa, how one should actually be silent while chanting japa. And I mean, silent means not to talk, he's saying, but not to speak, to talk while chanting japa, and other things while going to the bathroom, not to speak, and other things too. But there was some guidance is given there. And we understand and see that japa is really our meditation time. And so we want to have the counting part as our proper meditation and try to do that exclusively. And we may be walking, but I mean, the ideal is we'll be sitting peacefully. And Munindra Mohan Prabhu and Krishna Kanta, when they began the yoga studio in Rome several years ago, they began that. And they had no experience about yoga, but they're opening a yoga studio because it was the way to reach the people. And so they said, we had to study something and look and see and be able to answer questions. And they said, finally, we see that the whole purpose of Hatha Yoga is so you can sit peacefully in a peaceful, favorable attitude for meditation. And then what is the meditation? On the holy name of the Lord. How to meditate on the holy name of the Lord? Take his name with japa. Take his name as given to us in the line. We will receive that name from the upper world to this world through that connection arranged by the Lord. So japa has its place, but chanting aloud has its place. And Haridas Thakur, who did chant 300,000 names a day, he also was engaged in loud chanting, sankirtan, dancing, chanting, everything, and Harikatha discussions with the devotees. And by the way, Rupa Nugaprabhu mentioning about being in the forest, we abandoned him in the forest. We didn't abandon him. He happily stayed in the forest, and we gave him a nice a waterproof mat thing he could lie down on and be there. And we know Rupa Nugaprabhu a little bit, and we're up in the mountains, and it was another, hour or so up, an hour or so back from where we were, and a little bit of a stop when you get to the top of the mountain. And the devotees were thinking, oh, Rupa Nugaprabhu, he's waiting for us, he must be, in anxiety, are we okay, like this. And I said, I think he's probably having the best day of his life in a forest high up on a mountain in the north of it. And when we're coming down, then we could hear this chanting, and you've already heard the distinctive voice of Rupa Nugaprabhu. He does have a distinctive voice. And his mother made some comment about his singing, which I didn't know until today. But we were very happy to hear his loud voice singing before we reached him. And we're also thinking maybe he started back down the track towards where we parked the car. But no, there he was, just where we left him, completely happy. And there were people in front of me who were walking, who had gone, maybe they'd gone to the top or not, but the people who were walking in front of me. And Rupa Nugaprabhu didn't see me because I'm a bit behind them, but I saw them coming, and they also seeing him, and he is chanting Hare Krishna loudly. So it was very happy to return down And for those of you who know the mountain, it's Rezegone. It's the mountain when you look from the garden, or even from the end of the wall outside here. When you look straight out and then off to the left, then it's Rezegone means razor blade, not razor, saw blade, Rezegone. So it looks like a saw blade mountain, and it's been calling us for years. And then on the 6th of August, they decided to answer the call. So we were seven of us got to the top, and one of us was left as a representative to chant the holy name of the Lord with full energy. So we went up there. That's a couple of days ago. And Krishna was very kind, by the way. We went up there only with Harikatha, only with the chanting of the names and all these things. It was a very wonderful journey up. Walk and talk. And yesterday also walk and talk, but in the forest here. And very happily walk and talk. Yes, Ishwarananda Prabhu, Ishwarananda Prabhu Ubarcha from Sweet Lake City. I think you may have met last time. You were here last time with us, here seated on Sunday. Yes, okay, that's a yes.
Dhanavats devotees, Dhanavats to all the Facebook Live and all the recorded devotees that are watching and sincere seekers. I am not qualified to speak, but I can see that there's about like 23 other devotees on Zoom right now that are qualified to speak. And so I'm happy to listen, but Maharaj asked me to speak. So what I can contribute is we were reading from Revealed Truth in the mornings, and a small piece that I wrote down, and maybe Srila Gurudev saw me write it down because it was questioned later, but the three, I'm not sure what specifically it was said, but they were words that start with D, and there was 4 of them. So we have dedication, devotion, divine guidance, and determination. And those stuck out to me, and those are all, high ideals, and those are all going to help us in our slight attempt or major attempt, or anyhow, that's my contribution.
Could you repeat those 4 items kindly?
Dedication, determination, divine guidance, and devotion. That's what I'm always forgetting. The last one.
Hare Krishna. Okay, this sounds like homework to me. Maybe Sevarupa is going to put them in the chat box. Or you could probably find the direct words of Gurudev there too. That may be very sweet to put those direct words. So don't all of you go searching. Sevarupa, we need one person to search. Like when we're looking for the songs in the songbook, then we have like 20 devotees all looking to see what page is it on. One devotee can find, and the rest of us, we can accept their authority. Jane. So have you, oh yes, so say group, she's looking for it. She'll look for that quotation. Yes, Leela Shakti has a big smile on her face. Would you like to contribute something? We've got smiles on our face because we know a plan of Leela Shakti, and we're hoping the Lord will fulfill it. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Where's that button? Yes, microphone button.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavats Gurudev, Dhanavats your devotees. I'm just happy listening. That's why my big smile. We've been reading from Revealed Truth as well in the morning from the Portuguese version. And actually, there is nothing that come out of my mind right now, but it has been really good to read it in the morning. It keeps us inspired throughout the day.
Jai. Beautiful. And we know this isn't just something you've learned and repeated, but it's something that we can experience and share. Start the day in a good way, and what better way to start than reading Revealed Truth? I mean, really wonderful. And engaging in arti, parikrama, singing kirtan. This goal, and if you do all of these combined, it's not only very good, perfect way to start the day, it's more perfect, more perfect, most perfect, etc. So beautiful. Thank you, Leela Shakti Devi. Govinda Govinda. And I see Vila Govinda Ashram, Acha, with the name Vila Govinda Ashram. We have 3 devotees gathered here. And I can't actually see who the third one is because we're so small on the screen. Who's the third devotee? Oh, Kamala's there. We've got the thumbnail on the screen and couldn't actually see. So we got Kamala Sundari Devi Rasi, we got Priya Sundari Devi Rasi, we got Leela Moy Prabhu, who's using the name Vila Govinda Ashram, just see. So we've got them just next door here, and we can ask a kindly first-hand contribution from each of you, and maybe starting with Priya Sundari Devi, because she's unfortunately leaving later today from here, heading on for her next chapter or next paragraph in this chapter of her life. And so maybe a few words from her, and each of them know that they are allowed admittance with something in their pocket. So we're not putting them on the spot. We put Leela Shakti Devi a little bit on the spot, but they are not on the spot. Yes, Priya Sundari.
Dandavats, everyone. Yeah, today is my last day, and since the day of, well, since yesterday, I think I've been in this mood of already separation and feeling sad that I'm leaving, but because it's always it's like a different time zone when you leave. Everything, you step outside and things start to get a little different from when you are associating only with devotees and living the ashram life with the proper routine and all the oddities, everything that you can contribute to work is proper seva as well. So to separate from this and also here being here with Gurudeva all of these days, it's something that I will feel the loss for. The next days will be more painful. But I did separate a OneNote that I recently asked Gurudev about loving. How can, when we love someone, do we have to consider this love separate from our love from Gurudev, from Krishna, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Or can we understand that the love that we give, is it like automatically flowing towards that direction? Or is it very mundane? And the answer was emotion or devotion, right? So we are not heartless, so we can, of course, have a lot of affection and care for everything that we relate to in this mundane world, but real love and the love that we can that we eventually love the Lord, that is received by Him, is when we love devotees. And this is so this is one extra weight for my separation pain from the devotees, because this is a super loving environment, and it's really love. And yeah, so I wanted to share this. And yeah, so with non-devotees, let me just quote from Gurudev. With devotees, we have a family, and the symptoms of love, which are from the Padashamhita, right? We have symptoms of love, such as the
Yes, correct.
such as the wait offering gifts, receiving gifts, offering prashada, honoring prashada, and yes, and in confidence, revealing your mind and inquiring about what's happening in the mind of others. So all of the symptoms of love, they are a guidance to what help us to our devotional life. So yes, I have all the reason not to leave, but yet I am needed also to do to continue with business, with my other business, my mundane business. For now, it's necessary, and yes, and I feel just one line from this audio that it seems to be from Srila Maharaj, and it was called Wonderful. Or at least in my notes, I call this audio Wonderful, and it was played during one of our morning meetings with Gurudeva here in the ashram. And one of the lines is that the higher cannot come to serve the lower. And so it's one of the memories I think I will bring, along with the love and affection, love and devotion, because that's why we have to serve, we have to be of service at all times. And I don't know if this is a correct understanding, but for me, I realized that every time that I am unhappy with someone, it's because I was expecting that the other person would serve me, when actually it should be the opposite. I should be serving the person and not expecting them to do something for me. And yes, and being with devotees, you are always like in a special, not only self-analysis mood, but you can always be very affectionate with your emotions. And whenever I'm angry because, oh, somebody said something I didn't like or something like that, I reminded myself that I am not here to be served. I'm not here to, I am, my position is just to be that, you just try to serve. So yes, and this is, sorry if I spoke a lot. We have more devotees to share, but yes, thank you so much, and my dandavats to you all.
Jai, happily hearing from the heart, and you didn't speak too much. We're very happy when devotees will speak and not be so humble. And so, no, you are humble also, but I mean, devotees sometimes express their humility in silence. So we're very happy to hear. And with you, we'll ask first to Kamala Sundari Devi Rasi. What did you bring, Kamala?
Dandavat, everybody. Each devotees. Sorry, my English not the best. But I can say something. I'm happy to be here, and now we have a lot of devotees, and everyone is happy and try to do its service for Gopinath, for Giriraj, for Gurudev, and high devotees Madhurananda, Krishna Kanta, Shanti Moy, Munindra Prabhu. And now it's smooth, so very healthy, I think, because start early morning and everybody can do it something small and big one. The mood start more healthy and more improve every day. Thank you, everyone. Dandavat.
Jai. And also Kamala Sundari Didi, she's one of the pujaris, so she's used to getting up early in the morning, preparing things beforehand. And now, for this side of the world, or this top of the world, the days are getting shorter. So we notice, suddenly we notice that the days are getting shorter. So here we are, we're actually in the not midnight, but completely black night time here. and for another little while, then it'll start to get light. But the days are getting shorter, so getting up earlier also makes us more aware of getting up, that we're getting up early. But it's a special time, and beautiful sunrises here, as you all know. And when there are no clouds, there are beautiful sunrises. And even when there are, Krishna is the best artist. And yesterday evening, Krishna, the best artist. Dark clouds behind, rich green color, and evening last sun coming and shining on the houses opposite. And really, it was better than any picture postcard. So, not to take anything for granted. With clouds also there is beauty. Yes, so for today, last but not least, who's left here in Vila Govinda? The one in the center with the big smile, Leela Moy Prabhu. What would you like to share?
Okay, I don't know how to pronounce all of you. Since some of us shared some revealed truth quotations, then I was listening also revealed truth this last days. Then yesterday I heard some really beautiful, not quotation, but a part of that Srila Govinda Maharaj says about this Trinada Pisunichana verse, that humility, tolerance, giving honor to others. And he said that he always stressed this point all his life. And it seems simple to learn in the theory, but in the practice, not like everyone is practicing. Then I think this is really important, because we are not just listening just from Srila Govinda Maharaj, but all our masters, all our gurus, always stressing this point. Then it's a good thing to pay attention in our life. And about this last point, to give honor to all without expecting anything in return. And I heard this also from Srila Govinda Maharaj, that about that we cannot recognize who is the Vaishnava, who we should give honor. We cannot recognize who is the Vaishnava, who's the real Vaishnava. Then we have gradations of Vaishnavas, someone may be pure Vaishnava, someone 50% Vaishnava, someone 20% Vaishnava, 10% Vaishnava, 1% Vaishnava, but we cannot recognize. Since we cannot recognize who is the Vaishnava, then we should give honor to all, because without everyone around us, we cannot survive. We are here in this world, as Priya Sundar says, as Priyananda Sundar said, we are here to serve the Vaishnavas. We are servants of the servants of the servants of the servants of the Lord. This is our direct connection to Krishna. We cannot serve him directly. Then, yeah, basically it's this. And we should always give honor to others and no expecting anything in return. Tag Gurudev.
No. Hare Krishna, Jai Gurudev. And yes, but we must see that Vaishnava part in others and not think, oh, they're only a 5% Vaishnava. I'm not going to, I'm going to see the 95%. No, the point is about that we will see that Vaishnava part and we'll look for it. If we can't find it immediately, we'll still look for it because it's there. Devotees are devotees. So this is the point. Why are we doing so many things? Because we're trying to be devotees. And we are in the practitioner department and always will be. And Seva Rupati successfully found, she fulfilled our faith in her to find, she successfully found in revealed truth that quotation of dedication, devotion, determination, and divine grace. And maybe Sevarupa, you could read it for us, not read it, but transmit. This is Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. And as always, presenting things sweetly, cleanly, beautifully for us. Sevarupa.
From our mundane position, we cannot gauge or feel the nature of Vrindavan. If we try to feel that abode from here, what we feel will be mundane. It is not necessary for us to discuss the matters of the transcendental world so much. That abode is not revealed through lectures or reading actually. It is revealed through dedication, devotion, determination, and divine grace. When one is fully enriched with those qualities, one will get everything automatically. We should only try to keep our faith. We will simply try to believe in what Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Brahma Samhita, and the other scriptures have expressed about the Lord's pastimes with his liberated devotees in his divine abode. Thank you.
Jai Shri Gurudev Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And this is also one of the points that Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj, Sri Ramash told, how Srila Saraswati Thakur didn't encourage reading. Yes, like our japa, like many things, to read in proper measure. And that proper measure has been given by Srila Saraswati Thakur, been given by Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. So we will read in proper measure. But all of this is to nourish the most important part, which is that we must practice with dedication, devotion, determination, and divine grace. So seva, seva, seva. This is the important part. And then our reading is seva, when we read in the proper way. When our japa, our chanting is seva, we can say eating, because that's what other people will see we're doing. But our honoring prasadam, everything is done in seva and for seva. So it's all contributing together. All right. Yes, Muktinath Prabhu, we saw your form there very briefly. And we definitely had some remembrance, but kept them more or less quiet. We can't always refer to the Himalayas because all the mountains are wonderful, but we definitely had some remembrance of our journeys to the Muktinath in the Himalayas. And Muktinath, he went on the second of the pilgrimages that Keshavananda was on up to the Himalayas, to Muktinath. And we were remembering this in our adventures a couple of days ago with the devotees of Rezegone. For the first time, I've been here almost 4 years. The first time we went to the top of the mountain, which has been calling us, but we went with devotees, and by the grace of the devotees, with the devotees, by the grace of the devotees. Then we went up the mountain. Went up means walking. Ask them, they'll tell you. There wasn't a chairlift. Hare Krishna. Okay, dear ones, here we are very happily together in full remembrance, trying always to be in full remembrance of not only the personalities, but the teachings and what they have taught us to do. All of these things in the remembrance of our divine masters, their teachings, and let us show our gratitude through our service to them, putting into practice their teachings. Our divine masters, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rock Shira Dev Goswami Maharaj, Om Vishnupad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Om Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga, to all of them, Ki Jai, to Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, to Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundarjo, the deities of Navadip, Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, worshipped by Guru Maharaj Gurudev Ki Jai, and Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev ki jai. And as we mentioned right at the very beginning, the mat is not limited to a physical location, and we must all try to be connected there through what is Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, the presentation of Mahaprabhu through Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev to the whole world, wherever we are. So to all of the rooms of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat all over the world, ki jai. That means to all of you, ki jai, and to all those who are with us on the, as we heard, on the Facebook in the recorded version, and here on Zoom, ki jais to you all, and Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda, the unlimited numbers of devotees everywhere, ki jai. And Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Shri Bhaktivedanta Madhusudana Maharaj ki jai.
All right, dear devotees, have a special day, or if it is late at night, as with some of you, have a good night's rest, so you are fit and active for Seva tomorrow. And may each day be a savorful day from inside. Whatever we do on the outside, let it be savorful on the inside. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Om. Amra Ashchi. We are coming. And have you copied out the quotation from Revealed Truth? If not, please do so. I have witnesses. I've copied it out. So let us try to be fluent to remember dedication, devotion, determination, and divine grace. For the next Zoom, this is our mini homework. 4 words. Jai Guru.